The reason I'm here again tonight is to ask you to exercise the requirement for accountability for Mesquite Regional Business. On June 27th, I was told by MRBI that their financial statements, they engaged inadvertently a local CPA firm to review their financial statements for the June 30th period. And as soon as they were done, they'd be released on their website. It's almost 3 months ago. Public companies, General Motors, ExxonMobil, are required to have fully audited financial statements done, prepared, and released 45 days after the end of their accounting period. And they do it. We're 90 days past the end of the accounting period, yet there are no financial statements being provided to the public as to how our money is being spent. I don't know what the reason is. I do know that the city's contract with MRBI allows the city, I guess that's you, the right to ask MRBI to present financial information, including receipts, backup, and documentation as to what the money was spent on. I don't know what the hesitance to do that is, but I again ask you to exercise fiduciary responsibility and require MRBI to tell us what our money has been spent. Thank you.
Mayor, Council, good evening. My name is Elaine Hurd, and I am here tonight to follow up on my statement before City Council on July 23rd and a subsequent letter addressed to each of you regarding Mesquite Regional Business, Inc., also known as MRBI. I did not receive a response to my questions in that letter, so I followed up by email. I want to thank Councilman Rapson, who is the only one who responded to me. He said he had been advised by council not to respond. My question is, under what legal theory the city councilman or their legal counsel are refusing to respond to an inquiry from a citizen regarding an organization that is funded by the taxpayer? Was it the city attorney who advised all of you to essentially take the Fifth Amendment as regards MRBI? Or was it a personal attorney who advised you to stay silent? The Fifth Amendment generally protects against the abuse of citizens by government authority, not protect the government from its citizens. It is a privilege against compulsory self-incrimination, and I'd like to know if you are concerned about self-incrimination as regards MRBI. Since you didn't answer me on advice of council, I will publicly ask my questions again. Why did City Council ignore Nevada's open bidding law and selectively award a professional services contract to an entity that was formed with taxpayer dollars for this specific purpose that had no previous operating experience? Why was this entity created with a 501c6 membership tax status that is being reviewed by the Internal Revenue Service? Why are there no women or minorities on the MRBI Board of Directors? Why is this an exclusive club of 5 Caucasian men, which does not represent the demographics of this community? Women and minorities are taxpayers and stakeholders, and why are they being excluded? Why is MRBI ignoring the Nevada open meeting law that requires any body supported in whole or in part by tax revenue to abide by this law? Why does it meet in the dark? And why wasn't the hiring process of its CEO open and inclusive of residents of Clark County? And why are the taxpayers of Mesquite paying for a website built and hosted in Laramie, Wyoming, which is the hometown of MRBI Chairman George Galt and CEO Gay Stockman? How exactly is MRBI spending our taxpayer money, and is it meeting the terms of its contract with the city? When will you ask these questions? I request you take steps to hold MRBI accountable and ensure transparency to the taxpayer. Thank you.
David Baldwin, I'm a member of the board of MRBI. We're a private company. It was formed with my money. I paid for MRBI before. It was not formed with any money from any taxpayer. It came out of my pocket. So falsehood number one. We have complied with all requirements of the city from the beginning. comply with the contract. Considering the formation of the website, Gay Stockman built the website. It's only a hosting service. There are no hosting services in Mesquite. Period. We use that because there's tools available to allow Gay Stockman to build the site herself. We didn't go out and pay anybody to do it. She did it herself. The outreach to Clark County. There was outreach from Clark County. We had 3 applicants from Clark County. In the future, hopefully, we'll get some statements from council, because I'm looking forward to those too. But there are people in this council that understand specifically that we reached out to people individually in Mesquite specifically to be on this board. There were no qualified people. We hired qualified people. We had a process. We explained this process to members of the complaining group. They don't care to understand what the process was of hiring. So let me put it this way. We are a private company. We are not public. We have no requirement to publish. We're not traded. We are funded. We have other funding. This isn't the only funding. We've received a $50,000 grant for operations from the USDA, independent of the city. So that's going to be allowed us to have a revolving fund for business growth in this town. So there's a lot of effort being done on behalf of Mesquite. So if we want to continue to recycle the falsehoods that the IRS is investigating this, they're not. There's no investigation of MRB by the IRS. So thank you very much for your time.